Hey friends, Sean here from the beautiful islands of South Africa, and this is episode number 5 on the Purpose Inspired Life podcast. I'm your host, Sean Willard. This is me, and I cannot believe it's already episode number 5. You know, time really does fly when you're having fun, right? And here's a little tip right out of the gate. I've said it many times in the podcasts and in the talks that I've given. Start small, start now, but start. You don't know where it's going to go to. I have no idea how this podcast will go over the next 6 months or maybe 6 years, but I started. And I want to encourage each and every one of you. I did it afraid. I did it ugly. You remember, all business and everything we do in life, you know, we start off with enthusiasm. It's messy in the middle, and then eventually it starts to take form and it really gets wings. It gets wings. So I want to encourage each and every one of you, may my learning to fly on as a podcast host be an encouragement to you. I'm going to make lots of mistakes. You'll see those mistakes. I hope I can be as authentic as I possibly can in terms of conveying my message, but also the fact that I'm the messenger. The messenger is vulnerable. The messenger has holes. The messenger gets messy. The messenger isn't perfect. It's all about progress along the journey. It's like I moved from buying the boots. I hope you watched that podcast and that video podcast about buying the boots, to base camp 1 or base camp 2. And I'm on my way to summit that mountain, that Kilimanjaro, that Everest for me. What's your Kilimanjaro? What's your Everest? What's the mountain out there in your life? The great mountain, not the obstacle mountain, but the vision and the dream that you have for your life. And how are you on that journey? Are you still thinking about it? After all these podcasts I've done about Someday I'll and starting now, start small, but start. Are you still just thinking about it and contemplating it? Or have you taken that first step? Let me know about the very first step that you've taken on your journey. As I'm taking my step on this journey, I want to use this opportunity, podcasting, to encourage you to take the leap of faith. Not to fake it till you make it, but to faith it till you make it. And the difference is this. Faking it is a wish and a fantasy, just almost a very weak hope. But when your hope is anchored, when you have a deep desire, when you have a vision and a dream that you've articulated to yourself, you've seen it in your mind's eye. I put up a meme just the other day saying about that, you know, when you set your intention, your hindsight feels like deja vu. In other words, when you've really seen it clearly, when you actually achieve that and you reflect and you have hindsight, it feels like, but I've actually done this before. I lived this before. And it's true. You're calling those things which are not as if they already are. You faith in it till you make it. You're not faking it till you make it. There's no old proverb that said thoughts become things. Now, it's not just a random thought. It is that deep, almost intentional thinking space where I get into and I visualize and I dream and I meditate on what it is in my life that I want, what it is that I desire in my relationships, in my health, in my finances, in my personal growth and development as an individual. What is it that I'm really looking for? In the first few podcasts, I chat a little bit about 2025. We really want to thrive in 2025, don't we? And if you're watching this and it's already 2025, then it could be the next year of your life. That could be 2026 or 2027. That's okay. I'm talking about the next year of your life. Where am I going in this next year? It's the middle of December 2024. Now, where do I want to be in the middle of December 2025? Cast that vision for yourself. See it in your mind's eye. Call it into being. That which isn't yet. Don't set yourself a goal based on your past. Your past is your past. That's history. That's over. But just set it on what is the deepest desire of your heart, the big story that you want for this next year of your life. Then break it down. break that down into a sizable goal, a goal that will stretch you but not break you. I like the 3-2-1 principle, or 1-2-3. Have one goal, 2 reasons why you want to achieve that goal, and three action steps, 3 plans around it. What can you do? What are the smallest things that I can do today to move me in the direction of that goal and that dream for my life? I want to leave that with you today as we get into today's thought around finding your voice and why it's important for you to find your voice. Your voice matters. It's really about uncovering your purpose and using that purpose then to connect deeply with others. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom or whether you're a corporate executive, it doesn't matter. I have found time and time again, I've been on all sides of that counter, both as a pharmacist, as well as a speaker, coach, and trainer, coaching other people. It doesn't matter who you are. You're looking for something deeper, looking for something that really makes a difference. Your voice matters. I know for me, my story is interesting in that I really didn't know that I wanted to stand on stage. When I say I didn't know, I use that word very carefully because I think it's a conscious and a subconscious thinking. I think it was around about 2007, I was in an event, a large event with a lot of people in the room. And I remember very clearly saying to the one organizer, whatever you do, it was a nutritional event, do not call me to the front of the room. You can ask me a question, but please don't call me to the front of the room. I don't want to come to the front of the room. Now, someone else at that event didn't hear me say that. So I was sitting about halfway back in the room, and I'm just sitting there like a private individual, my late dad would say, minding my own business. And the guy looks at me, makes eye contact and says, Sean, you're a pharmacist. Come up here and tell us what you think about this particular nutritional supplement or this category in nutrition. And man, my whole heart just absolutely sank inside of me. I had this complete knot in my stomach. My bum bit a hole in the chair. I'm convinced to this day. I felt like when I got up off the chair came with me. As I was walking to the front. Now everyone's looking at me. Sure, come to the front. And all the way up to the front of the room, it felt like 100 meters. It was probably 10. This little inner voice inside of me, there were two little guys having an argument. One was saying, yes, you can. And the other one was saying, no, you can't. Are you mad? What are you doing, Sean? And it was, no, you can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. All the way to the front of that room. And I remember getting to the front of the room and turning to face the crowd. And I not only faced that crowd of people, all those eyeballs looking at me, and I not only faced my fears, but I faced my destiny. I faced my destiny. I knew this is what I was called to do. And when I say I knew, I use that word again, know and knew. It was like the subconscious belief and feeling that I had inside of me. When I set aside my inner limiting beliefs and fears, and I was still scared. The tongue was still sticking to the loop. You know what I mean? Oh my word. But something inside of me felt deeply engaged. I felt alive. And if I reflect on it, thinking now, probably just a couple of maybe weeks or months before that, I was listening to an audio recording by Les Brown, who would later become my mentor just another year or so down the line. And Les was relaying the story about being at an event where Bob Proctor was speaking on stage. And it was almost as if as Les was sharing the story to us over the audio, it was as if that was exactly how I would have felt. And I was sitting there in that crowd listening to Bob Proctor myself. He shared how he'd been sitting around for 10 years thinking to himself, I can do this, no, I can't. I can do this, no, I can't. I can do this, no, I can't. Looking at Bob Proctor up on stage. And Bob Proctor turned to the crowd, and it was as if he zoned in and honed in on Les Brown, and he was the only one there listening to that message. And as I listened to it, it was like Sean Willard was the only one that this message was ever made for. He said these words: I represent the thoughts that you have rejected for yourself. I represent the thoughts that you have rejected for yourself. As I stood at the front of that room that I think it was an evening, I realized this is what I was called to do. I was called to use my communication skill and desire and background to inspire other people. Finding your voice isn't just for those out there that say, yes, I want to be a public speaker. I've led coaching groups and training programs around finding your voice for people who really wanted to be able to articulate their message and their purpose and their calling, and then put that into a actual speech, a talk that they could share, whether it was maybe at the moms group, the ladies group, maybe it's at the men's breakfast on a Wednesday morning, or maybe at a larger networking event, or again, if you're a corporate, just being able to utilize the gift of your voice, sharing a PowerPoint presentation in a business meeting. It doesn't matter when you want to speak. As I say, it could be that awkward moment when you meet one or two people for the very first time, and maybe you just don't know what to say or how to say it. When you tap into your purpose, your voice, something comes, it's almost like a fountain that comes up. Rather than you waiting for something to happen to you, it happens through you. The purpose inspired life. The purpose inspired life. Your voice matters. You have a unique voice, and that's why it matters. Each of you have your own story. What's your story? Don't die with your music still in you. I get emotional when I say this. I really do. Because I know, having seen this story many, many times from many people's lives, as I've shared from stage, people come to me afterwards and say, Sean, today my life has been impacted. Today my life has been changed, and I am going to set off in a different direction, folks. Your voice matters. Your ability to communicate that voice, that message, that purpose that's within you is so important. And so over the podcast coming up in the beginning of 2025, I'm going to be diving more into this idea of finding your voice and what does that mean practically, and how can we kind of channel that voice, then that purpose, into something that really makes a difference in the world, but also makes a difference in our own life. And I will help those of you who need coaching along those lines. Your voice matters. It's funny how that purpose and people kind of interact. It's a synergistic thing, the purpose and the communication, the connecting with people. People skills is one of the most important skills out there. So when you have purpose and people skills, you have impact. And the bottom line takes care of itself. Your purpose gives your voice direction. Your ability to connect with people gives it wings. Your purpose gives your voice direction. And your ability to connect with people gives it wings. What's your voice? What's your unique voice? I want to encourage you as I finish off today. I'm keeping it short and sweet as I wrap up. I really want to ask you to start journaling, because finding your voice is a journey, not a destination. Journal on a day-to-day basis. Give yourself the opportunity to really discover your deeper purpose, and give yourself time. Cut yourself some slack, as I say. Here's a purpose exercise for you. Ask yourself, if I could use my voice to make one positive impact on the world, what would that be? What would it look like? If I could use my voice. Journal that. And then connect with people. Do something different this week. Maybe listen more. Practice the art of connection. And I'm going to be sharing more with you in forthcoming podcasts around finding your voice. Folks, it's been an absolute pleasure again to connect with you. This is podcast 5, I believe, on the Purpose-Inspired Life. If you're enjoying this, share it, like it, comment. Tell me what else you'd like to hear about. But we're going to be on a journey to living life from the inside out, making a difference, living a significant life. You have a voice, a unique voice, and it matters. Go out there, develop that voice, develop that message from a place of purpose, and impact lives. This has been Sean from the beautiful islands of South Africa. Sending love and God bless. Cheers.